Hello. So I was going to post something on Facebook, but I decided to do a video because it's just much easier to explain this than to just write. Plus, I didn't feel like writing. But God said something to me early, well, I guess towards the end of the week. He was like, my church is broken and the people need to be repaired. And I didn't understand what that meant. I was like, what does that mean, Lord? What does that mean? And I went to church yesterday. And hey, Sarah. I went to church yesterday. And one of the prayer people went up there to pray. And I just sat there in disbelievement, or that's even a word, but I sat there not understanding why no one was responding to the prayer. We were the woman was praying to the Father and talking about how good He is, and I'm just like, why aren't people responding? Why aren't they responding? I don't get it. So I kind of got irritated, and I was like, I told one of my leaders, I was like, I have a mind to go up there and say, why aren't you guys praising Him? Like, and I know that there are people here that are Christians. Don't you guys know who we are in the presence of, And, he told me, he's like, don't do that. And I'm like, I'm not going to do it, but I'm just saying, it's how I feel. And, so I spoke to my other prayer partner too, and she said that there's a lot of people who they're new to the faith. There are also, people who may be unbelievers there too. And, this is a concern of hers as well. So I went back down and prayer was over, and then the worship team came. And I believe that was God's answer to my, to me feeling the way I felt. And the worship leader was like, I feel like I do this with you guys every week, trying to get them to, I guess know how to praise or learn how to praise. I don't know, but people don't raise their hands or praise. And she said, because the song was called I Am a Child of God. I am a child of God. She said, you don't have to fear. You don't have to not feel unworthy, or feel worthless. And that spoke volumes, because God was like, these people don't know who they are. A lot of these people are beat up from life. A lot of these people are discouraged. They're broken. What He told me, they're broken, Nina. How can you expect broken people to know to raise their hands? And you don't want people raising their hands out of ritualistic, reasons, or you don't want people raising their hands by force. You want people to raise their hands because they know who they are and they know me. And then as she started to kind of lead worship and, talk about who they are, they began to raise their hands. And I started to cry and I started to rejoice. And I was like, oh my gosh, this was the answer. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. And I asked Him for forgiveness, because I was just like, thank you, Lord, for showing me, why these people were so dead in their seats, And it just taught me a lesson that, God will speak to you, and then He will put you in a situation like He did me, where it's to teach you. In my ignorance, in my religious way, of thinking, I'm like, why aren't these people raising their hands? But God was like, trust me and let me lead. Let me show you, So God has been definitely dealing with me this year about identity. Identity is so important, because if you don't know who you are and whose you are, then you'll allow life to break you down, and you'll allow yourself to think that you're worthless, or to think that you're not worthy of even raising your hand. I do believe maybe that these people that I saw yesterday, they may not have felt worthy. They didn't feel like they were worth it, to put their hands up in the air. But God had to remind them of what and who they are. And a lot of times we see people for their sin. We see people for the outward exterior and how they look. But God sees the heart, and that's what he's trying to train his people to see. Don't look at the outward appearance. Look at what's going on in the heart. And God had to show me that these people are broken and they need to be repaired. And we need to speak to people. We need to speak life to people. We need to speak to them and call them what they are. Don't label them for what they do. My sister, Shanara, she spoke about, about this, and not seeing people for, what they do, but call them for talk about the truth. You may know, the facts, about them. Yeah, they might just be a beater. They might just be a stealer at that present moment. But speak the truth. Speak what God says is of who they are. Speak that. People can grow from that than from you pointing a finger at them and saying, this is what you are. Speak life to people. Speak truth. Tell them who they are. And if you tell them who they are, then they can grow. They can turn from their ways. They can turn from, what they may think that they are in the present moment. But really God is like, no, that's not who you are. That's not who I called you to be. I called you to be a royal priest. That you are fearfully and wonderfully made. I called you to be my son, my daughter. I've called you to love. I've called you to forgive others. I've called you to pray for those that persecute you. I've called you to, give to those that don't give to you. I've called you to do all these things. That's who you are. So, anyways, I love you guys, and I hope that you guys can see something in this, and hopefully it will help you. But y'all have a good day. All right.